Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm your host, Roger Knecht, president of Universal Accounting Center. And for more than 20 years, I've been working with owners of accounting, bookkeeping, tax businesses, helping them build successful companies offering quality services and getting paid what they're worth. Each and every week, I have a guest on the show to highlight various things that we need to be working on as we become the premier accounting firms in our areas. These guests happen to focus on things that they're experts on, and they share their stories and, more importantly, help us understand what we can be doing in our own firms. And today is going to be no exception. I'm happy to welcome to the show Mark Kohler. He happens to be someone that I consider a wealth of information. He's a tax specialist. He happens to host 2 podcasts. He's written 4 books and is basically well-renowned in the tax industry. One of the things that really excites me is the fact that he has a tax strategy program to help tax professionals offer tax planning services. And so, Mark, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, this is fun. So one of the things that really excites me is the fact that when I meet professionals, they're eager to share their stories, but I want to get the backstory. I want to know you're an attorney, you're a CPA, it's a rare breed. Yeah. Give me an idea.
Spotted white leopard.
Yeah, there you go. So give me an idea of how you got into the accounting profession. Which came first, the law degree, the CPA?
You know, I'd love to ask that. And really what came first was my passion for entrepreneurism.
Okay.
Main Street America, small business. I had a small business in high school, started a janitorial business, probably started 4 or 5 different businesses during college. And so I always wanted to go into business, always enamored by law and all that. I think I was pre-law when I first started my undergrad, had to declare a major, so it was probably pre-law, but I went into the business program.
Okay.
And I thought, poli-sci, what's that going to get me? If I don't make it to law school, what am I going to end up doing? So anyway, so I went into business, and when I got into business school, they have their 4 options, right? Management, finance, marketing, and accounting. And I'm like, I think I can knock out some of these other ones. No offense to those MBAs out there. I'm like, I think I can figure those out. But accounting, man, if I could do accounting, then I can stand out there because I could really make a difference. I don't have to get A's. I could be the class president and get a C and hire all the A students.
There you go. All right.
So I decided if I can do accounting, any business will need me. So I don't know. That was really I'm not really a numbers guy in high school or growing up, but I just thought accounting would be the best skill set in business.
It's the language of business.
Yes.
There you go.
Gosh, I've said that before. Damn it, you stole it from me.
Well, I wish I came up with it, but I didn't. All right. So if you were to introduce yourself in a crowd, are you an attorney, CPA, an attorney, a CPA?
Well, better get, I just say tax lawyer, tax attorney.
Okay.
But I specialize in small business. A lot of tax attorneys are corporate America. They're doing reverse mergers and taking companies public and going offshore. There's very, very few tax lawyers that are like, I want the small business owner. Tax lawyers are paid well, but we build a practice based on volume and pricing that makes it work. So I love the small business owner.
Perfect. So what's a common myth then as a business owner may approach you, what you do? What do they misunderstand or don't realize?
Well, a business owner, they want me so badly. They want someone that speaks tax and legal because they can't freaking understand their lawyer. Their accountants, hiding the ball from them or not sharing strategies to push the needle.
That's right.
And they're frustrated. But then they hear tax lawyer, they think, ding, ding, too expensive. I can't afford that. And so, but once they find out, oh my gosh, you've got a team of tax lawyers, and that's all they do is bring tax and legal together for that. For me, the small business owner, and it's affordable, they freak out. They're like, I got to have you. And so that's the misnomers. They think the tax lawyer is a corporate thing or out of reach or too expensive.
Gotcha.
When in reality, that's what they've been dying for.
Yeah. So let's go back to when you started your firm, whether it be the law firm or the accounting firm. Why the entrepreneur? You've already mentioned that in college you had these businesses and everything else. What gave you that platform to maybe stop and go off on your own?
Well, I should finish the story. So I did my accounting degree, and in my master's program in tax, University of Utah, go Utes.
There you go.
BYU sucks. I just want to throw that out. Sorry. I mean, I may be in BYU country. Some people don't know where this podcast is recorded. But anyway, there's a big rivalry. Football season's right around the corner, everybody. Anyway, I was doing my master's in tax, and I had a professor that was a lawyer.
Okay.
And he was a tax lawyer. I'd never seen these before. I was like, oh my gosh, you can do everything a lawyer can and tax. You get paid more than the average lawyer. You're paid more than the average accountant. And you bring these two worlds together. I was like, this is the guy. And so I immediately applied to law school, and my brother was going, another friend was going to law school. So it was on my radar, but that's when I really caught the vision. So I went to law school. I took the CPA exam while in law school.
Okay.
Passed it in law school. Brutal. That's when you had to do all 4 ports on a weekend. And it took it twice, but I nailed it the second time. And I want to let all you accountants know, the CPA exam is harder than the bar exam.
I had to ask that, so you already did answer it. Good.
Yeah, it's good. So anyway, I passed the bar. I went and worked at KPMG, went to tax court, went to a law firm and said, I'm going to be the business lawyer for this little law firm in southern Utah. I hate urban areas. I wanted to be out in a rural area.
Okay.
And after I helped every business owner in town for 3 months, I had to expand, but I immediately started my own firm within a couple of years. So that was my progression. I really wanted to have my own gig. I've always been that entrepreneur type that, hey, whatever, let's build it,
So give me a lesson that whole startup phase taught you.
Oh, okay. Here's a good one.
Okay.
So as an entrepreneur, I went to school for 10 years. To get my undergrad, master's, and law school.
Yeah.
And had several small businesses along the way. Some semesters I'd just go part-time, but I went year-round. Because I knew if I quit school, I'd maybe never go back.
Agreed.
Because that
Same
entrepreneur
way.
in me.
Same, yeah.
So when I finally got out of law school, I went to work at this law firm. I was just dying to get out of there a year later after KPMG and just all these big firms. So as soon as I could spread my wings, let that peacock fly. There, a little Mark Wahlberg there, other guys. So I wanted to let that peacock fly. I got out there and I realized I was free to do anything I wanted. And so I was like, ooh, I'm going to start the law firm. And what happens is clients come in and go, oh, I'm starting this business. Hey, if you'll take care of the legal, I'll give you 10%. Or do you want to start this business? Oh, okay, I'll start that business. And I was just like a chicken with its head cut off. I was like in a candy store. I had all these business owners coming to me.
Wow.
Everybody wanted a joint venture.
Yeah.
I was educated. I was like, the world is my oyster. And I spread myself too thin.
Okay.
And so for about 5 years, I really didn't make the headway in my law firm that I wanted to. And about 3 years in, I started an accounting firm. I had a partner on the accounting side. And so we had an accounting firm, law firm combo going in the same building. But I was spread way too thin. And so what I learned real quick is, hey, if you love business, make the law firm and your accounting firm your business. Don't chase, oh my gosh, the ideas I had. We don't need to go there, but I had like 5 or 6 things that were brewing. And I walked away from them and just hyper-focused on the firm. And then it's just never looked back.
So what was it like to hire your first employees?
Love it. Today we have now in our trust company directed IRA, we're going to hit $2 billion this year in self-directed funds.
Wow.
Clients that are self-directing IRAs, 401ks around the country. We got the law firm, the accounting firm. We probably have 180 employees right now. Mm-hmm. And I worry more about my employees than customers. I really, we're going to take care of our clients and all that. But number one for me, I lose more sleep over making sure the business is strong and solid and growing, because it's such an honor to have employees and to provide a livelihood to families. I just hold that sacred. And so having an employee was a big deal. A lot of fun. It was cool. Me and a lawyer jumped ship. If you've seen the movie The Firm with Tom Cruise,
yes,
that was me in the middle of the night. Me and my assistant, my secretary, she still works for me today.
Oh, really?
We were loading up files, breaking away from the firm in the middle of the night. It was a big coup d'etat, and me and another lawyer took 2 paralegals and opened up the firm. And so I left the firm with my first employee right there. And so we ran shop, just 2 guys and 2 paralegals for 3 years. And then the expansion started with the accounting firm, and I hired this drunk IRS agent. I mean, he left the IRS, was miserable, he hated it, and then he came to work drunk every day. So that was a fun employee, and he lasted a little bit. Anyway, just so many stories.
Yes. Great. So when you look back at that journey, what advice would you give yourself as you were considering starting the business and you were going out on your own and you were 5 years in, spread too thin? What advice would you give your younger self at this point, now that you have the perspective you do with the different businesses you're operating?
I wish I would have just caught that hyper-focus sooner. I I mean, hindsight's 2020. When we see what happened with the real estate market over the last 20 years, and
Yeah.
we rode that wave hard, 2000 to 2007 in the real estate industry. That was another major mistake. We got too industry specific.
Okay.
We've always had ranching clients, farming clients, retail, the professionals, but we were all in 2000, 2007. I was speaking a lot at conferences, and so we really doubled down on real estate. And when the market crashed, we were swamped for another year because everybody's calling up for triage.
Correct.
Like, hey, we need help. We're dying. But then once that settled down, we were like, our business dropped by 70% in, I think, 2010, 2009,
Yep.
a year or two after the crash. And we were like, holy crap, 90% of our clients are in the real estate industry. The dust is settled. We got to diversify. So it took us a couple years to re-engineer our marketing plan, and it's been a huge strength of ours now to be in multiple industries and really make sure we're spread out wisely on our marketing.
I love that. The diversification can be very, very, very helpful. I mean, a lot of people talk about niching, going into certain industries, specializing, but there also has to be something there to kind of hedge yourself against the challenges, right?
Yeah. There's a pro and a con to that.
Yeah, yeah.
And niching up is, I don't know. That's a hard one. You got to be careful.
Well, everybody likes to talk about it, but what I feel people do is they tend to imply that when you niche, it's solely a specific industry. And I'm of the opinion that you can actually still specialize in a particular industry, but also do it 2 or 3 times over in various other areas. And now all of a sudden you're diversified and you don't have to worry about it. But yet your marketing is very specific in that industry as well as over in this industry. And you're able to hopefully play off of one another.
Oh, yeah, I share the same opinion. And anybody listening here, I market and I train we'll get to this, it's very important. I train CPAs and enrolled agents around the country, accountants, people that are breaking into the industry, people that are burned out in the industry. Mm-hmm. And so I have a certified advisory program, nothing like it in the country. And I tell them, train my students, we are not going after one industry. You're going to be a certified tax advisor. You could serve 10 industries.
Yeah.
You're going to have 10 marketing plans. 10 memes, 10 videos, 10 podcasts, 10 whatever, or, one podcast show, but you're going to have different shows that you're going to play to these different industries. But when the dust settles, at the end of the day, I won't use the word dust settles again. When the day ends, I am a certified tax advisor. And so marrying myself, it always drives me crazy when we have an office in California too, and the Hollywood attorneys or CPAs. Well, I'm a Hollywood attorney. I'm a Hollywood CPA. We do movies. There's nothing you do that's different. There's nothing that makes you special. Well, I specialize in the dental industry. With what? It's all the same freaking write-offs. You can speak dentist. I can't speak dentist. A dentist, a realtor, an engineer, a doctor, a landscaper, a hair salon. They're all the same strategies. It's being able to relate with them and reach them and market to them. But it pisses me off when someone thinks they're that special, that they know something in that industry I don't. I'm like, reveal, please. You're 179 bonus depreciation. It works in all those industries the same way it does everywhere else.
Everywhere else, yeah. So let's dive into the tax planning and preparation. A lot of times I think there's a distinction that needs to be made between what they both are. So let's just start with that definition.
Yeah.
What's tax preparation? What's tax planning?
Okay, I like to use the words transactional and advisory.
Okay.
And the accounting industry has done it to themselves. They've really screwed themselves and I did for years too. We'd lead conversations with, hey, can I prepare your taxes? Hey, can I prepare your taxes? And then what did you pay with the last place you went? Oh, I'll do it for this. We made it about transactions and we made it about price. And now we wonder why we hate our jobs and we have crappy practices. When we now have learned, and this is over the last 5 to 10 years myself, gradually, and then the lights just started popping about 2 years ago when I was doing internal training and we were re-systemizing. I thought, oh my gosh, I can take this internal program I designed and teach the masses because we haven't taken a new client in 18 months. We're too busy. And so I'm like, I want to help America. I want to help the accounting industry. I got to get out and tell everybody what we figured out. And so that was that shift to advisory. And now we're leading with, you need strategy. You need a game plan. You need a journey. And I'm going to help you. And I'm going to take you along that journey. And we've got 50 things we need to cover. And we're going to cover financial advice, tax advice, asset protection, privacy, partnership planning. And I can talk about those things as your tax advisor and connect you with my network of support. Me as your tax advisor is not just transactional. That comes at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So now let's build a relationship where we're now helping you get to your end game, your goals, and build wealth and create that protection for all the assets you're building. And once I explain that to anybody at a dinner party, they're like, oh my gosh, how do I get one of your advisors?
Yeah,
that's what I need.
That's what I need. Exactly.
Yes.
So what you're
Don't pay
describing there is, you use the word transactional. It's commoditization of the service, right? We've commoditized the tax preparation. We're going to file the returns. We're going to get it done in a timely manner. It's been now price sensitive because we're all now competing against one another. But when you can get into the tax planning, what you're referring to it as advisory, we're now able to do the strategy, the planning. We're able to get into things that are sexy and fun. I like to say it's the creative space, because in that area, you're all of a sudden now working with a client to say, okay, I've made money. How do I protect it? How do I grow it? How do I save it? And now all of a sudden you're coming with these insights that nobody else has because you're the expert. Now they're beholding to you because, oh my heavens, you've got an idea of what I can be doing that no one else has ever introduced to me, and they're willing to pay for it. And so that to me is fun.
It's fun.
That's the
and
word.
They go hand in hand. I'm not saying we get rid of the transactional. A lot of people, I want to go in advisory. Well, then who's going to prepare your client's return?
Bingo.
Because they're going to be pissed when you tell them one thing and then their transactional guy has his butt hurt because you had the idea and they didn't. And there's a lot of territorial issues there. So we want to provide the transactional, but we lead with the planning. We lead with advisory. We bring the transactional in. We create a pricing model where it's a win-win-win. And it works every time. And but you also said something very important there. You said the creative space. And that's the challenge. Most accountants all went into accounting because they weren't creative. They didn't want to be creative. They love numbers. They love finality. They like finite summaries that actually add up. That's what I loved about accounting versus law. The law is, it depends. Who's the best arguer? In accounting, there's an answer. It will add up. Now, we can get creative with strategies and planning, but I love the finite nature of accounting. And so a lot of accountants are trained for that. They love that. So what's been refreshing, I had a bigger response than I expected, is these enrolled agents and CPAs that show up and are like, Mark, I need advisory. I have 12 modules right now, 70 plus topics, 800 quiz questions, 12 final exams you have to take to get through this. It's easier than it's different than enrolled agent exam. It's different than CPA exam. You don't learn strategy in those exams.
Correct.
We all know that.
Yes.
And so these quizzes and exams you take over until you pass, get a 90, and everybody can do it. I don't want to freak people out, but I want accountability because I want people to say, you're going to learn this and you better be able to explain it to someone, because here's what happens. You get in that call with the client, Zoom or in person, they want a strategy. They want something that's going to move the needle. And that creativity that has to come into play, if you don't have a toolbox of strategies taught to you in a way that's easy to convey, you freeze up. And you see it coming, so you don't even go there. All these accountants want to go to advisory, but then they don't have the toolbox.
Yes.
And so they get frustrated, they get depressed, they start drinking, staying up all night watching Netflix, watching porn, trying to make sense of life and they're frustrated. But so if we can give them the tools to be creative, it unlocks a whole new practice.
I'm loving this because one of the things that I think is the secret to that are two words, and I've always said this: confidence and competence. When you can instill in someone the confidence that they can look at that potential client and say, this is what I can do for you. This is how I can help you. This is what I'm good at. That confidence comes through in their emotion, in their eyes. It comes through in their voice. That's beautiful. But it's second followed up by the competence, the ability to deliver that service in an efficient way. And all of a sudden now you're doing it profitably. Because if you say you can do something and then you go back to the house, to the office, and you're just wondering, what am I going to do? How am I going to pull this off? That's a lose.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to walk back and implement strategies that you're confident in, that you can do efficiently, and all of a sudden now you're being profitable with the services you're providing.
Well, to me, that's where, it's funny you say it that way, that's where the transactional does come into play. Because I don't want to just be a good first date.
Yeah.
I can get into that comprehensive consult, build a trifecta, give them 10 strategies. We're going to get your kids on payroll. We're going to write this off. We're going to start adding some rental real estate. I want to bring in these losses from here. Let's look at their board of directors, board of advisors, your travel, your dining, your electronics, everything, all these little strategies that have a nuance that most accountants brush over. Well, there's gold to be found in those hills. And clients want to talk about it. They love it. And you start to expose that. But then you give them that plan. On day 2, it's got to be implemented.
Yes.
And it's about staffing, training, calendaring, having a good CRM, a good billing and follow-up system, because that transactional part of actually getting the bookkeeping done, getting the payroll done, knocking out the 941s, getting the tax returns done. We want to extend our clients and also push those out throughout the year, spreading out income and resources. And anyway, there's so much there. But that implementation side is on day 2, which like you said, that competence to carry through with what you came up with. And that can be a challenge with some people. They're great first days and terrible implementing. Other people are scared to death to do the strategy, but they got a great system and people. They just don't know what to sell. And if we can bring it together.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much magic.
You're right, because there are people that I'm familiar with that have processes, have systems, have strategy, but they just can't portray themselves well. They don't know how to market. They know how to sell. And so they struggle getting the clients. So in other words, they're really good at what they do, but who cares because they're not getting paid for it. Yeah. There's the other side where they can put on the good face, they can play the good game, but at the end of the day, they struggle to deliver. They don't have the processes, the systems, the tools in place. You marry those two together, this becomes just like a symphony. It just plays well.
And it's not that hard. It really is not. The accounting industry is such a beautiful horizon. There's so much opportunity there. You've seen the statistics. So many accountants are leaving the industry.
Yes.
The baby boomers are finally trying to sell practices. They're walking away from practices. They can't find people to buy them. And there's, oh my gosh, there's just golden opportunities out there. And I'm a CPA, love my CPAs, but these EAs out there, oh, I love them. They're scrappy. They're like, freaking, I'll go buy this firm and I can do strategy and I can implement a system. And they come in with a fresh look. Us CPAs, sometimes you got to teach that dog some new tricks and you got to put down your guard. I want to go somewhere deep with you. I think it'll blow your mind. But
Please, go. Okay.
All right. Man. Okay, let me give you an example.
All right.
Okay. I had a great interview with Ken McElroy. I was on his podcast a couple days ago, and major influencer in the real estate arena, and we were talking about strategy, and he's really gone all in. A good business owner, they know their strategy. I have as many business owners come to my workshop as advisors and accountants because they've realized they got to become their best strategist first.
Yes, they need to understand.
They do.
Yeah.
And so Ken was telling me he had a big transaction going down this last year, had a seller. Seller all of a sudden realized he was going to have a big gain. And he went, Ken's like, well, you could do this, this, and this. So the guy goes to his accountant, and what's the accountant say? No, you can't do that. I think no is the classic first word out of so many CPAs.
It's the easy answer.
It's the easy answer. It's the safe answer.
Safe,
I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Okay, so he says you can't do all this. Ken's like, can we get your accountant on the phone? I'll get my accountant on the phone. I know there's some options here. We could play with a CRT, a 1031, an installment sale. We got opportunity zone. We got all sorts of places to go here. And the guy's like, sure. So he got the accountant on the phone after he put down his hackle. They talked through the strategies, closed the deal. Client was ecstatic. Accountant had all these lights go on, but it took a lot of work to get there. Now, here's the problem. When I try to go to CPAs out there and say, you need to come get certified, you need to come learn these strategies, that's scary. It's not scary to learn something new. It's scary because deep down, what are they going to do on day 2? They're going to go to their 1,000 clients, 500 returns, 3,000 returns, their staff, and go, hey, I've learned some new strategies. Oh, did a new law get passed? No. Well, why weren't we doing these last year? Well, I didn't know them. And so now they have to go to their clients and go, hey, I've got some strategies we're going to do this year. Well, why didn't I save on self-employment tax last year? Why did I take too much of a salary in my S-Corp? Why didn't I do this, write off this travel last year? Why am I not writing off my RV on the side of the house? Well, I've got these strategies now. And so they're afraid to go to their client with new strategy because the underlying issue is they've now said that they were doing it wrong. And they're thinking lawsuit. They're thinking I'm going to get sued because I did their tax return wrong. Now I've got to go back and do amendments. How can I bring 30 new strategies that kick ass into my practice and go explain to my clients I wasn't doing that for the last 10 years? That's scary. What I try to tell them is flip the dialogue. Your client is dying for you to do that. They don't want to sue you. They don't want to come after you. If we can amend a return, they'll gladly pay it. Show up and own it. And say, oh my gosh, my clients, I have upped my game. I have upped my business. I can help you. And make it an exciting, opportunistic way to transition all of these clients that have been starving for advisory. And you can flip the equation so easily without that fear.
One of the things I like about how you're describing is the passion you're bringing to it, because it's that enthusiasm that I think the accounting profession lacks. Is we do not, I feel, have that energy with our delivery, our clients. What we need to be doing as a profession is going in with that interest of how do we better serve them. I love what I do. I'm looking at new things I can implement and learn to take to you, my client, to actually help you next year and the year after that and the year after that. I'm invested in doing my job better this year than I did last year. And I'm on that journey, and I'm going to bring you along with me.
Yeah. Like, wouldn't you be grateful if your orthopedic surgeon that did your knee surgery a year ago or whatever, or any doctor that you have now, even primary care, calls you up, which would, most of us would fall over in our chair, but our doctor calls us up and says, hey, I went to a conference this weekend. I learned a new technique that might help with your knee. I'm thinking of some orthoscopic, let's do this. I've got a new exercise I want to try, a new injection, a new this. I think we can move the needle a little bit with your knee. Oh my gosh, thank you, doc. That was wonderful. Did I expect the doctor to know everything when I went in the first time? No. So why can't an accountant call up their client and go, hey, you know what? I just got certified on some new strategies. I think we should have a meeting. I'd like to talk to you about doing some more planning and advisory. And I really think we could move the needle and save you some big money this year. I'm going to bring stuff to the table I've never brought before. Would you like to meet? Are they going to turn that down and say, no, by the way, I'm charging for this, but I'm going to save you 10 times whatever you pay me or more. If I don't move the needle in this meeting, I'll give you your money back on the consult.
Yeah, there you go.
And I've said that over and over again. Clients walk away saving 30 times whatever they pay me.
Yeah, the fact that it's new and it's something that you're bringing to the table doesn't mean that we need to talk about last year necessarily.
True.
Yeah.
And our incompetence or anything like that. Let's talk about the future.
Yeah, exactly. That forward thinking, I think, is exactly what I love about this, is the fact that you're actually giving the accounting profession something that they can now move forward with, and we can literally help our clients with their financial situation. Yeah. All right, so you brought up a few terms in this, and I just want to introduce my audience to some of these. You've got Trifecta. I know that you're really good with regards to your illustrations. We don't have that ability here today, but there's drawing out. There's this left side where you're going to W-2 earn your income. On the right side, you're going to actually set monies into something that's maybe like a S corp, an LLC. You're going to put investment properties.
You're killing it. Stop. Right. You're I love you.
Because this is fun.
Yeah.
All right, start at the base. What's the foundation of it all?
So the trifecta. You had your left side, right side twisted. That's what I wanted to. This is good. I'm
watching the screen.
Yeah. That's right. We're flipped around here.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you're going to love this. Okay. So the trifecta is something that just kind of evolved in the last 8 to 10 years as I was teaching my own classes, CE classes to realtors and contractors and dentists and doctors and every business and funeral directors. What happens is when you have to get in front of 50 business owners and make sense of a tax and legal, you got to come up with something visually.
I'm a visual person.
Yeah. Well, most of us are.
Yeah.
A picture says 1,000 words.
Yes.
So this trifecta, which I've trademarked since, and our Main Street business and trifecta and all that, we just feel so passionate about it. The trifecta is an equation that says the foundation being your trust, your revocable living trust. 30% of Americans only 30% of Americans even have a will. I mean, the lack of estate planning, it just boggles my mind. There's the probate courts, the probate judges, the probate industry, $1 billion industry, because people don't plan. That whole industry would go away if people just did plan. Anyway, at the bottom is your revocable living trust. That's your foundation. That's your legacy. That's the future. And your 1040s at the bottom, because water runs downhill, money runs downhill. So in the trifecta, at the base is your revocable living trust and your 1040. Then we take a line up the middle, and on the left side is our operations. That's going to be a side hustle, an LLC, an S corp, LLC taxes an S corp. Our W-2 is going to be over there, and I'm going to be looking at all the sources of income to pay the bills. What is coming into a client's tax return from the ordinary side? And that's going to flow down from the left. And it's going to flow in on K-1s and Schedule Cs and just wherever it's going to come from, W-2s, 1099s we're going to sort through. That all comes in on the left. On the right side is our asset side. Now, we want a wall there because now we're talking asset protection as well.
Yeah.
The left side is a shell. I mean, S Corp doesn't own anything. Sue me, you can have my laptop. And the right side is where we're going to put our assets. And then we divide that into an A and a B. I want my tax-free or tax-deferred bucket, where I'm going to talk 401k from the day job, my solo 401k, Roth, HSA, Coverdale's, HSA, all of it. So anything that's tax-deferred or tax-free, and we're going to be chunking out our Roths, building tax-free wealth as fast as we can. Then I'm going to have my after-tax rental properties, my short-term rentals, my long-term rentals, my self-rentals. I'm going to be doing notes maybe. I'm going to have my portfolio at Merrill Lynch or whatever. I've got my home. I might have some life insurance. Well, those after-tax assets and the tax-free all flow in from the right. And it all comes down to the bottom into our 1040 and our trust. Our trust owns everything, creating some anonymity and some privacy. I don't want your name on your trust. I want to try to create that assets protection between the left and right side. And I want it all to flow down to your 1040 where a river runs through it. Brad Pitt.
I love it.
If I can bring Brad Pitt into it,
It works.
Just the bow on top. So. Anyways, that's the trifecta. And when you draw it out, clients love it. So I train all of my advisors how to build a trifecta. So when you get a client on Zoom or at your desk, you're like, okay, let's look at this, let's look at this. And we bring it together and they're like, and then we create action items. What are we missing? Do you have a board of advisors with your teenagers or college students on your LLC or your S Corp? Do you have rentals? Do you have self-rentals? Are you buying real estate? What is in your Roth? Are you in debt? Can we get you out of debt? And I'm so sick of tax advisors going, well, I can't give financial advice. The hell you can't. You give financial advice all day long.
Yeah.
Get out of debt, save money. That's financial advice. Now, we're not an investment advisor.
Nope.
I'm not going to tell them what to sell and buy, but I can give financial advice all day long. Own it. Your client's dying for it.
Well, here's the thing that I'm going to add to this, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but this is my take.
Yeah.
And I've been exposed to this now in the last few months, having been introduced to you and now seen some of these things as you've described them, is I've actually been aware of the HSA, the 401k, the W-2, the LLC, all of these things, and I consider them pieces of a puzzle. I know what that piece is. I know what this piece is. What you've done a great job of doing is you illustrated where they fit in the landscape of things, and now I'm able to see, okay, here's how these parts play together. And so all of a sudden, the pieces of the puzzle start to take shape, and I'm starting to realize, okay, this is why I fully fund my HSA. This is why I fully fund my Roth 401k. This is why I actually go and create an S Corp and why I have the trust. All these pieces are starting to come together, and they take shape into what you described of the foundation being that revocable trust, living trust, and then all the other things kind of stemming out from that. That's where the beauty comes to me, is all of a sudden it's taking shape.
Yeah. Oh, I love the way you said that. I've got to give a presentation tomorrow morning. I might even, you just gave me a great visual aid. I might take a little box of puzzle pieces and say, this one's an LLC, this one's this, and I'm going to dump them out and go, where do they go?
Yeah.
And even the advisors, even the lawyers, they don't know.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is everybody's heard these terms. I've heard of an HSA. I've heard of a Roth 401k. I've heard of a 401k. I've heard of having my let's say my LLC, my short-term properties, all these things everyone talks about. But where do they relate to one another, and how do they coexist, and where do they fit on the table? That's the thing that's fascinating to me, and you've actually put it all out there together.
Yeah. Well, and this is the beauty of a comprehensive consult. Half of the checklist items present themselves.
Yes.
As you start to design this for a client, they go, oh, my home's not in my trust.
Yeah.
Oh, that LLC, yeah, the title, I haven't moved that rental into the title. Oh, I haven't done minutes on my S Corp for 3 years. Oh, I don't have a living will. Oh, my side hustle LLC, I haven't registered it for 3 years. It's gone defunct. I mean, just by building a trifecta, interviewing your client, saying, let's find out where the holes are, you build a whole year of advisory right there.
Yes, that's it right there.
And because you're going to go, we're not going to do this all today. We're gonna meet every month or every quarter. We're gonna build a pricing model to implement this. We're on a journey over the next year, and we're gonna start saving taxes now. I've had clients cry in those meetings. They're like, "Where have you been? I've been starving for this."
Yes.
And they go, "I knew someone out there was like this," and they're blown away.
Exactly. Well, you've moved it clearly from the transactional, that commoditized interaction to now
a relationship.
Exactly. And now you've got them for life.
Yes.
They're going to be with you forever. And so that kind of brings me to a story. Do you have an illustration?
Oh, I've got a story for you.
Give
I
me a
just wanted
story.
to tell you one.
Okay.
So at our workshop, I know you're going to be, people are going to hear this after our 3-day workshop in Salt Lake this July. Our next one will be in December in Phoenix. Every 6 months, we're doing a 3-day workshop, 45 classes, 36 topics, 20 speakers. I'm on main stage explaining all of the big picture items, bringing energy, helping build practices. Oh, it's incredible. So one of our speakers, Friday, is on building the client relationship.
Okay.
And gosh, I just had a tingle of emotion. So when she's teaching this class, and she did it a month ago, and I said, "Can you teach it here at our workshop?" Her dad died a year and a half ago, and he died of cancer. And it was one of those deaths where the person really has the time to make those phone calls. You know, everybody parades through, the kids, the grandkids, the relatives, yada da da da. And she sat by his bedside a lot of the time while he was doing this for the last month of his life. And she's like, "Who do you want to call?" He goes, "Well, I want to call my accountant." You know? And he had a great relationship with this accountant. And she's like, "Do you guys have that relationship with your clients? Would your client call you from their deathbed and say, 'Hey, is everything okay? Is my wife going to be okay? Is my husband going to be okay?' That's a real relationship. And you got to measure your relationship with your clients sometimes in that way. Would they call you and say, 'What's our plan?' Or is it just a transaction? 'Oh, yeah, go get your taxes done next year, honey,' or whatever."
Well, what you're describing there is a relationship. And it's one that obviously just doesn't come through intermittent annual type discussions.
Hell no.
But one thing I would also bring to this is I learned the difference between wealth and generational wealth. And what I would imagine is this individual has seen that you've not only helped them basically keep and retain what they've worked so hard to earn, but now they're in a position where they can leave it as a legacy.
Yeah.
Well, that's huge. That's life-changing.
It's huge. And as a tax advisor, you're going to have that discussion. You don't have to be a lawyer to tell someone, "Get your freaking trust done," or "Let's get some asset protection going," or "You need some minutes," or "You need this." And our law firm provides support to all of our advisors so they can go to a safe place. They know what the pricing model is. We have an affiliate program for all of our advisors. So they're making money off the law firm, which is allowed now in multiple states, and we can help them nationwide through lawyers that we have licensed in certain states. So anyway, the point being is that it's such a win-win because clients want to hear about building the wealth and how it's going to be left to the next generation. Why would I do a charitable trust? Why would I even do a charity? We have a class on a charity this weekend. We have classes on the estate plan and the college savings. You start bringing it. I mean, there's just so much that an advisor could talk about if they felt like they had the tools to do it. Clients will pay anything. They're starving for it.
Yes, this is awesome. So here you are in a position to help accounting professionals, EAs, CPAs, implement this, offer this. What do you think holds them back? And you shared a moment ago some of those things that they experience of, I'm going to get sued, and what are my clients going to think of me, and why didn't I do it sooner? But what do you think is holding them back beyond that?
We've got several objections we deal with. My sales team's great. I've got 4 young salesmen that are just excellent on the phones doing demos. Any of you listening, we'll tell you more about it. It'll be in the description. But we're doing demos for clients every day on Zoom so they can see what the online training and the quizzes look like. I meet with all of the I do trainings twice a week with everybody.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are starving in the accounting industry that need a tribe.
Yeah.
They need, where can I just pose a question? I don't have a big firm. I'm on an island in the strip mall as a new EA. Who do I call? And so we do 2 trainings a week live with me answering your questions, and then the training and the videos and the quizzes and white paper. I mean, I just bring it all together. No one's doing that. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that when you get with the, when the people start to consider this, the EAs have the concern of the cost. They're going, okay, can I really spend, $7,000-8,000 to get trained on these strategies? Is it going to change my practice tomorrow, next month? This is a big investment. We have payment plans and things like that, some of the accountants don't know if learning the strategies is actually going to equate into more revenue. It sounds good.
Yeah.
We tell them you can charge more. Let's add advisory. I want to see EAs billing $200-300 an hour when they think they can do 1040s for $150. I'm like, hell no. We're going to change the dialogue there. But so I've set up a pro network where we have a waiting list of business owners around the country that just want one of my advisors.
Correct.
They've come in and they've said, Mark, you've tripled my income in a month. So I have to get the EAs to know that I've got clients for them. And I don't take any of that money. That's all theirs. I'll just give you clients.
Yeah, it's not a franchise.
Yeah, it's not. Now, then the CPAs have this little bit of an attitude that they kind of know it all. And if they don't know it all, it's going to make them look bad learning something new. We talked about that.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that, and a lot of people say, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. That's probably the third objection we hear. I don't have the money. Is this really going to pay off? They don't see it as a biz op. And then the people that have a little stick up their butt, about not knowing everything. And then you've got the third one is, well, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why are you so busy? Well, my clients demand so much and da-da-da. Well, you know what? You're not in control of your practice.
Yeah.
Your clients are in control. And so we're going to step back and we're going to take a couple hours a night for the next month and a half or whatever it takes, however fast you want to work through this. And let's modify your system just a little bit. Let's change the course. Let's change the new type of clients you're going to bring on and start converting the clients you like and getting rid of the clients you don't. And you're going to double your income within a year. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
It's that easy. It's just a small shift.
Well, those individuals that are saying they don't have the time because they're so involved with their clients, the one thing that I experience as I'm interacting with them is, first of all, they've got a great job. They're not running a business. And so while they're running the job, one of the things I'm trying to do is help them realize they need to find the process systems, things that they can delegate. And as they go through that, they'll find the time and be able to move into this more creative space where they can be making more money, charging more for the services that they're providing. So,
and we've heard it said so many ways. Like, yeah. I should have said it, work on your business, not work in it.
Yeah.
And we've said that. And you so many accountants don't work on their business.
Yeah.
They just show up, whatever comes in the door, it's the same old. And I've seen it over and over. I've been a CPA for 24 years. Every spring I hear it, in June, July, they're swearing, I'll never do this again. Tax season is the worst. And then what happens by November? Well, I guess we better gear up.
Yep.
Well, did you change anything?
Nope.
No. What do you expect?
Yep.
Drives you crazy.
There you go. Okay, so I'm going to share with you something that I've been teaching for years, and I'd like to see if you're going to add anything to it. I expect you will, but we'll see. So when we're talking about tax planning and preparation, I obviously at the beginning indicated that the tax preparation is literally the filing of the returns. It's the preparing it, filing it. So just to keep it simple, during tax season, you're doing that through April. All of a sudden, April comes. I suggest that individuals in that process identify the returns where they feel that the client has missed out on opportunities, that if they would have done something the previous year, they could have taken advantage of something. So they've earmarked those, they've identified them, and what they're going to do is in the next quarter, they're going to bring all those clients back in and they're going to sit down with them and they're going to say, here are some things that I noticed that we can do this year differently that will actually manifest themselves as legal strategies to limit your liability. That right there becomes this great discussion where the client is seeing you being proactive, you're coming in, you're giving them suggestions. It is that advisory that you're referring to. Then in the third quarter, what we're doing is we're coming back and we're saying, okay, what are your plans for the new year? Is there anything new that we need to be aware of? Anything that's changed since we last met? And in the fourth quarter, did you do those things before the year end? Is there anything more we need to take care of before we go into the next tax season? And in those 3 meetings, I have found that there are these opportunities to be creative and actually do some planning and talk to the client about strategies and get them excited about doing things proactively that can impact their tax liability. So that's the year experience with that client. You've got the first quarter doing the tax preparation, and then the 3 meetings that you're doing with clients that actually have potential to do things, implement strategies, and so forth. Is there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, and I am probably I'm a little more calculated or targeted about that process.
Okay.
At the bare minimum, yes. If more accountants did what you just said, that's great. I would offer another level.
Well, you're going to take it. That's what I'm expecting.
Next level.
Yeah, that's what I'm wanting. I want you to go to the next level.
Yeah, next level. So let's step back here. Here's a big one. If you want to change your practice, you want to make more money, be less stressed, help more people. It's a win-win-win-win. IRS lose. Okay. If I want to do that, I've got to do 2 basic things. It's almost like if you want to take home more money, you got to increase your revenue and reduce expenses. It's just one or the other.
Yeah.
With a practice, it's the same thing. I got to bring in better clients and convert my current clients. And that, within a year to 18 months, I can double my income that way. I'm not going to take any crappy clients anymore from my model that I've done before. Any clients that eventually, I'm not saying we're going to fire clients. That freaks out a lot of CPAs and enrolled agents I'm training. But we're going to start converting our old clients, and we're only going to bring on new clients. Okay. Now, as you can imagine, we can come back to new clients. Right now, this time of year, mid-year, this is perfect because between now and next February, we're going to have a model for onboarding new clients. We're going to have an introductory discovery call.
Yeah.
We're going to sell them on a comprehensive consultation flat fee up front. And then after that, if we like them and they like us, then I pitch advisory, which includes transaction. I will never, ever, ever take another transactional client. It's an advisory transaction or go somewhere else.
Exactly.
And so that's half. So any new client is going to fit that model. And I could unpack that for 3 hours. I have boot camps to train on how to do that. Okay, now back to our other clients. So I love what you're saying there. So everybody listen, Roger said in the spring, and you really have 2 groups there. In the spring, you just finished the tax returns. You were like, holy crap, I could have done something better. And you've learned new tools, and you're like, now I'm going to bring them in second quarter. Now, you're not going to bring them in second quarter to talk. You're going to call them up and go, hey, I've learned some new strategy. We just finished your return. I would like to introduce to you our advisory program. And that advisory program is going to kick off with a comprehensive review and consultation. I've just been prepping your return. You want me to just keep prepping your return? I'll do that. But if you want advice and strategy, it's going to cost more, and I'm going to save you 10 times whatever you pay me. And it's going to start with a comprehensive consultation. I want you to come in. We're going to nail out a plan. I'm going to build you what's called a trifecta. And then in that, and if they go, no, you say, okay, good. You know where that client stands.
Exactly.
If they say, yeah, I'll come in, then they're going to come in and you're going to go, okay, now you do your consult. You figure out how much they need. They may need monthly calls. And we're going to be doing a $300, $400, $500 a month advisory flat fee that includes transactions next spring.
Yes.
And and then I might say, oh, you're a quarterly client. And so we already are going to pinpoint what we're going to discuss in second, third, and fourth quarter. And then the first quarter meeting is going to happen too on top of transaction. The advisory happens every quarter. The advisory happens every month. Transactions, I got a team for that. They'll be in touch. You and I, we have a relationship. So that's kind of that next level where we're going to really define it. And we're going to put in an engagement letter. We're going to set them up on regular billing. It's not, hey, I'd like you to come in every quarter. No, you're going to be coming in every quarter because I'm billing you every freaking month.
Yep.
So either you take advantage of it or it's on you. And they want to be held accountable. If I may. Please. The other group is right now in the next 6 months. Don't wait for the spring. Look at your client list right now and go, you know what? This third, I could move the needle with them. Call them now. Call them now and go, hey, before we turn the corner before year end, I want to get you in for a year end planning session and pitch you on a new advisory service. And we're going to set up an annual billing system for 2024, and I'm going to kill it for you. And we're going to save a ton of money, and I want to build in some year end tax strategies. I want to set up a comprehensive appointment, and it's going to cost you $500, $750, $1,000, but I'm going to freaking tear your return apart. I'm going to build you a trifecta. If I don't save you in that meeting, I'll give you your money back. You know how many people are going to ask for their money back? 0, because they've never done it to me in 20 years. I have 14 tax lawyers doing 4 consults a day, and clients are paying up front for that meeting and praying and thanking us on the way out the door.
So first of all, bold. I love it. Bold, that gets people's attention, and it is something that you're able to deliver on. That's awesome. Second, I loved how you brought up the fact that you're having the client pay in an amortized fashion for the next tax season. You're bundling that in. It's a monthly transaction, so it's not, hey, tax time has come. Here's this large fee that you owe me now. Mm-hmm. You're actually going to take and amortize that over the course of the year, giving you the means to actually justify the tax planning services you're providing along the way.
On top,
and at the end, all of a sudden, when it comes tax time, they're not looking for anyone else to do the return because they've paid you all over the year to do that return.
Yeah.
You've retained the client. So there's a lot of points in that are very important, and it actually mirrors very well what we teach as well. So this is wonderful. So here's what I'd like to do. You've got obviously a great process here that we're taking to the accounting profession to embolden them to be more passionate and engaged with their clients, to offer more quality accounting services. That's great. I want to get to know you a little bit. Let's talk about you.
Yes,
so what do you think people most misunderstand about you?
Most misunderstand about me, oh my gosh, is that I'm really smarter than I am, that I'm all-powerful, all-knowing, and have this huge influence. I don't know. A lot of people are like, Mark, you're all over YouTube, you're all over the blogs, you're all over the airwaves of podcasts, and you're interviewing these people, they're interviewing you, and you're so smart. I'm like, thank you, but no, I'm not that. I'm not that smart. I've done it long enough, and I've been able to organize it in a way that makes sense to a lot of people. And once they get in my inner circle or in the honeycomb, and they're getting weekly trainings, they're like, "Oh, Mark's just like the rest of us. He's just figured out a way to make sense of it."
There you go.
And so, a lot of people realize I'm just a salt of the earth guy. I'm not out there trying to be the next Tony Robbins. I want that platform, and I will. I'm going to be the GOAT in this industry. There's no one that has more podcast views, more YouTube views, more books, more articles than I do. In this, I'm going to change the accounting industry. I'm going to change the tax and legal for the small business owner. I'm going to be the Dave Ramsey, the Susie Orman, you name it. That's going to be me in this space because there's no one there.
Correct.
And I'm going to go, and I've already taken it, and I'm just going to keep building it. And freaking people, if you haven't heard my name, you're going to hear more of it because I want to impact your life and make it better, and I know I can do it.
Well, Mark, darn it, you're a nice guy, and I like you.
Thank you. I love Richard Smalley. I do Richard Smalley in the mirror every morning. You're old enough to know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. All right. Give me a favorite childhood memory.
Okay, this is a funny one. So I did the lemonade stand, and we lived and I grew up in the high desert of eastern Washington, where that's Tri-Cities, Washington, where out in the prairie you'd see small cactuses at times. There'd get very little snow. It's high desert. And so we had a garden, and we had this and that. My mom planted a lot of plants, and she'd plant cactus and this and that once in a while. And instead of selling lemonade, I thought, I'm going to sell these plants on the corner. I always had something I was trying to sell on the corner. And the funniest story was I went out there and set up a table, and I started to sell these cactuses, and they were literally dug up just from the road around me. And people would stop and go, dude, I can just go get my own cactus, you're right? I'm like, yeah, but this one's really cool. And then, I'm trying to sell freaking literally snow to us, to Eskimos. It was just the dumbest thing. But, I don't know. That was a funny memory.
Tell me you at least had it potted.
Yeah, I had it potted. This is a really attractive pot. And it's, I've done all the work. You're not getting it poked. You don't have to go dig this up.
And this is where they can see the hole that you just dug it out of, and there's one right next to it that they could dig up.
Yeah, that's right.
But I have the shovel, you don't, and it's in a pot, so take it.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, I know. It was funny, but I love selling stuff. So
that is awesome. Okay, favorite holiday movie?
Boy, you name the holiday, and I'll tell you the movie.
Let's do Halloween.
Ooh, Halloween. Okay, that's a classic. I'm going to go with a show. See, I'll tell my kids show or movie.
Okay.
Because these Netflix shows are as good as movies now.
Yeah.
We have Stranger Things.
Okay.
Season 3, Halloween.
All right,
That was
good.
a classic. We love. Yeah, that was a good one.
Okay, good. All right.
I could go as a scary one too, but
So, most influential person that you felt really helped you in your career, personally or professionally?
oh, it's funny, and I don't know if she'll ever listen to this podcast. Maybe she will. She works for us now, believe it or not. About 10, 15 years ago, when I was just starting to teach and get on the circuit out of the small, that was another part of that story. After I helped every business owner in town, I had to hit the road. I had to start teaching CE to business owners around Utah and then Arizona and Nevada and California to try to drum up business because I had my little India, cheap labor, great space down in southern Utah. So I went out and started speaking at different CE groups and conferences. And man, I was like living in a van down by the river. I mean, I'm just trying to hawk, tax and legal. It's just hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. And so I started speaking for a company in the real estate industry, and her name is Carmen Payne. She'll laugh that I would call her out, but she's in the top 10 most influential people in my life. She would come to, her job was to come to my workshop or my class and sit in the back and critique it. And then she would just freaking, tear me a new one at the end, in a nice way, and be like, you can't tell this joke, or you can do this, but don't do that. Your flow was off here. Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really a science. And so learning how to speak well on stage and present myself, handle a podcast. I mean, I've been on MSNBC and KTLA and King 5 and Fox. And when you're got a camera live on you and you got to speak on your feet and you got to move fast and have an organized thought.
Yes.
Carmen really was the one that helped me do that and kind of figure out how to convey a message that makes sense. She taught me you have to speak like, I guess, if you're speaking to an 8th grader. That's what most business books are written to,
Yes.
that level. And even though you can challenge people and bring them up, but you got to make sense first. Anyway, Carmen Payne, love her. I called it Carmenization. Instead of caramelizing an onion,
Yes,
she
yes.
Carmenized me and just kind of slow cooked me and made me who I
That
am.
much sweeter.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Give me a failure or a challenge and what you learned from it.
Wow, these are tough to think about. A failure and challenge for me in the last couple years has been managing the millennial age group. I don't know all the, boomer this and X that, millennial that. I don't even know. I'll just say 25 to 35, 30, 25 to 30, somewhere in there. And we've got a producer here. I don't know how old you are, sir, but probably much older than that. But anyway, but I understanding how to teach, motivate, and lead the 20-somethings of the world has been really a challenge for me. And I've literally gotten coaching on it and tried to really read and study and practice because the way I lead a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old and teach and train them can be very different. And I think some of us older guys can be like, freaking roll up your sleeve and get to work. That's how it works. That's not how it works now sometimes. And you have to earn their trust and earn their heart and their commitment in different ways. They're hard workers, and they can be very, very dedicated. But what my style may not resonate with them, because I'm a 50-plus-year-old guy now.
Yeah.
I know ladies, I look a lot younger. But and so I have to really – so I'm working on how to be a better manager. With 180 employees, I got some employees there I don't know really believe in me.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge.
Yeah. Very good point. And I can relate to that. It's one of those challenges that, and mine is similar in the sense that I have more of my employees now working remotely. And so we used to have, as a company events, things that we would do together to pull us together, interact, bring the families together with their kids. And through that, you would actually get to know the spouses, you get to know the kids, get some loyalty. That was really powerful. But now more than half of my employees live elsewhere. To create that loyalty, that synergy, the camaraderie, that culture just doesn't exist as it once did. And it's a challenge I'm facing just simply because it's a new dynamic. And even the people that work nearby work remotely. So they're never in the office, and it's just a totally different dynamic. So it is one that I don't want to say struggling with, but I am embracing the challenge and trying to address it. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Well, right now, if I could live anywhere, and I've just recently moved to Phoenix, and I'm freaking loving it. And I've been the type that don't like to look across the field and look at what's greener over there. I like to be where I'm at and find. And so I'm in Phoenix, and the number one reason, 2.5% tax rate. I'll just throw that down right now.
There you go.
You guys can you can hear me on that, people, right? Only 9 states have a tax-free structure. Arizona just dropped to 2.5. Great airports, great food, great people. 3 months out of the year it sucks. So that's why this summer I travel around and have a place in Idaho. And no, I'm loving Phoenix right now. It's been really good for me. I've got kids there, a lot of family there, so it's cool.
I love it. How about this? If you could sit down with someone living or dead, who would it be and why? What would you like to ask them?
I'd love to talk to my dad again.
I can relate
Just
to
tell him
that.
what I'm doing.
How long ago did he pass?
About 7 years ago. And so he really wasn't around for the last run on everything I've been trying to accomplish. And so I'm sure he's watching down from heaven, hopefully very proud of me, but it'd be nice to chat.
You know, that's similar. Mine passed away in 2007, unexpectedly. I don't have regrets, but there were definitely signs of his demise that I didn't realize at the time that I missed. And when he passed, I wasn't where I am today. And so he likewise isn't aware of the things I've accomplished since he's passed. And I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I'd like to think he's proud.
Yeah,
So,
I hear you.
Yeah, that's good. What's a great trip that you've taken, and where'd you go?
Well, this last year, I'll just summarize with I had an Icon Pass, which if some of you have never heard of that, it gets you into about 50 different ski resorts. And so this last winter was a lot of skiing, and I loved it. So
Nice.
a lot of snow skiing from Vail to Deer Valley, Park City, up in Jackson. They even have resorts in Europe. Did not get there, though. But if you like to ski, the Icon Pass is pretty cool.
That is nice. Okay, so with skiing, are you one of those that kind of meanders down the hill? Do you do the black diamonds? Do you go straight down?
Well, if you remember, I said I'm over 50
I
now.
know, that's
So,
why I'm asking.
Yeah. I like. I can handle a black diamond if I need to. Boy, Jackson Hole. Whew. Anybody listening here, if you've skied Jackson, when we were getting our passes in a little gear, or we checking in our gear, they were like, "You're close to expert level, right?" We're like, "What? We're here at a resort. I mean, don't you have a lot of green runs or blue runs?" They're like, "No, not really." And the tram that you see in pictures, I mean, you're up on the Tetons coming down.
Yeah.
I could not believe it. Now, I got down and from the gondola without a wreck on that. A triple black diamond at Jackson is insane. So anyway, no, I can handle the bigger runs. I love my, just beautiful blue, good speed. Just
Yeah.
shake my butt down the hill and just look good and carve. And I'm not a snowboarder. Sorry, people. So I'm more traditional.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm right in the same genre. I'm more for the speed, but my age is getting the better of me. So speed isn't what I should be doing any longer. So we'll see how that goes. All right. I'm going to switch the gears on us.
Okay. And
I'm going to ask you to pick a topic, and we'll see where this might go. I'm going to give you 4. You can pick a 5th, but I'm going to give you 4 to help. Okay.
Okay.
So faith, music, family, or work-life balance.
Work-life balance.
Okay. What does that mean to you?
That work hard, play hard. I'm not one to. I'm a goer. I'm a doer. I don't want to sit around. I don't want to be. I go crazy. But if I work too hard for too long, I'm going to snap. And so, but I want to be productive. And so anyway, finding that balance, I think, is one of the secrets to life, because we all want nice things. We want to do cool things. We want to go places. We want to enjoy neat things and share wealth and build a legacy with our family and our children and others. Well, that takes hard work. And so you can do all that work and not enjoy it, and then think, oh, when I get here or when I get there, it'll be better. When I make that much money, then I'll do this. And we can't live the when this happens type lifestyle. So I want to try to work hard, play hard, and enjoy what I can while I can.
So I'm curious what work hard means to you. So just to give you an example, one of the words that typically is said of me is I'm intense. So when I'm working, everybody's like, okay, I'm go, focus. So intense is a word that is kind of used with me. What would someone say about you?
More probably determined,
Okay.
consistent.
Nice.
Like, I mean, I've got to hit my podcast. I've got to hit my video, my writing, meetings, trainings, workshops, producing content. I'm always producing content. So I've just got to follow through, and 40, 50-hour weeks are very common. But then I don't sit around much. When I'm done, I'm out. I'm going. So
I like it. Okay. I'm going to do a rapid fire set of questions.
Okay.
So this means you pick one or the other. Okay. And as I go through this, I'm curious what you're going to say. Okay. Here we go. Introvert, extrovert.
Extrovert, of course.
Disneyland or Disney World?
Disneyland. Never been to the world.
Drive or fly?
Fly.
Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Read a book or watch a movie?
Watch a movie.
Money or fame?
Money.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so we're biased. We both have written books and so forth, so I'm just going to see where you go with this. Give me a book that you'd recommend. Anything that you've either read recently or something that was...
Love and Traction right now.
Traction.
The book Traction. Oh my gosh, the author escapes my mind. I'm carrying it with me everywhere. Traction is incredible. We're implementing a lot of those strategies in the EO system right now. Doing a retreat next month for some training on that. So got recommended to me a couple months ago, and I'm all in. So loving that book.
Okay. Podcasts. We both host podcasts. Do you have a favorite podcast?
I'm loving Dennis Prager.
Oh, yeah. I love Prager.
But Dennis Prager, love his satire and just kind of a real look at things. So kind of a fun one. Like when I listen to podcasts to kind of relax, and I like Dennis Prager.
Movies. Do you have a favorite movie?
Well, I love to watch movies while I'm hanging out, or not hanging out. When I'm working, I've always usually got an old...
Really?
I like to just have a movie playing. It's just kind of...
Yeah, so instead of the ticker tape or the CNN, you've got an old movie going.
Oh, yeah, like
an old Clint Eastwood, John Wayne?
No, not that old. So, oh my gosh, in the last month, while I've been just working late at night, what are some movies to watch? Quigley Down Under.
Quigley's great.
Always a classic.
That's good. Tom Selleck, yeah.
I had the other guys on. Money Pit.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good old Tom Hanks.
Yep.
Turner and Hooch.
Oh, wow.
Movies I've just seen forever. All the diehards. Live Free, Die Hard. Watch that. Arachnophobia with Jeff Daniels.
Why, Arachnophobia? I haven't seen that in forever.
Oh, so good. But anyway, so I mean, I just have a lot of these 80 classics. I could just go through my Far and Away, some good Tom Cruise. I've got to get back up on my Mission Impossibles.
Yes.
But with the new one out.
Yeah.
So all the Indiana Jones. Anyway, just having a movie on, Jaws, just some of these old 70s, 80s, 90s
Impressive.
classics.
I like that.
So
okay. What's a question I should have asked that you thought I would that I haven't?
Oh my gosh, you've asked a lot that I I don't have anything that should have asked. Oh man, what are you doing for lunch? No, I'm good. I don't know.
That's great. Good. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and kind of summarize what it is I felt we've discussed here, and then I'm going to come back to you for a closing thought.
All right.
But as part of the summary, one of the things that I'd like to do is to the audience is point out that Mark, he mentioned this earlier, and you're going to find in the episode description information regarding his training, essentially what it is you can do to move into the tax advisory space and offer tax planning services, and really what you can do to go beyond just being an enrolled agent, a CPA, and change the relationship that you have with your clients. So I encourage you to go to the episode description and find out more about what it is that you can do to step into that role and really become a little bit more proactive with your clients, retain them longer, get paid better for the services that you're providing, and in doing so, really take and level up your game in the tax space. In addition to that, you can find out more information about what it is you can do to become a professional tax preparer, and in that process, literally move towards becoming an EA if you're not already one. Now, all that is going to be found in the episode description, so check that out. And in that process, I also invite you to look at what's called the Turnkey Business Plan. It is the turnkey business plan for accounting professionals, what it is that you can do to start and build what I refer to as the premier accounting firm. Now, in addition to that, I'd like to add my summary of this. This has been a great conversation.
Yes.
The conversation started obviously with your entrepreneurial background, how you started back in college, having the jobs that you did, selling cactus is what we learned later. The fact that you went into basically tax law, the convergence of accounting and law, beautiful. You get that opportunity there, and in Southern Utah found yourself thriving and then needing to go outside of that space because you dominated it as you had. The first 5 years were difficult, but you quickly figured out after those 5 years that you needed to do something different. And you've grown an empire. You've got now these 100+ employees that you're literally working with to provide quality tax planning services. I really appreciated how you were able to, I say illustrate, but this is obviously a podcast, at least verbalize what it is that consists of a trifecta, a tax strategy that everyone should be implementing to literally legally lower their tax liabilities. And in doing so, really work with a professional tax preparer, whether or not it's you providing that service or someone else offering it to you, just basically taking advantage of the various tools and resources that are available to us in the tax law to really mitigate some of our tax liabilities. And I thought that was really helpful. The other thing that I really found that was quite important is the fact that you gave some great advice. You spoke of, I think it was Carmen, where she was able to kind of give you some perspective. And I think perspective is really good in everything that we do. Who's that outside influence that can see us differently than we see ourselves, and have someone really give us some perspective on how we're acting, what we're doing, how others are perceiving us, and at the end of the day, help us become better people. And I appreciate you sharing that story. Liked you sharing the comment about your father. I could relate to that. There's so many people in our lives that do pass and maybe don't see what we're able to achieve off of their shoulders, and from that really become better human beings and benefit those that are around us. And I can definitely appreciate and relate to that, and I appreciate you sharing it. Lots of little nuggets in here, lots of great little things, and I liked your idea of playing movies in the background. Podcasts, I've got to be focused. I don't like distractions. I like being able to pay attention. But a movie, I think I can enjoy the movie in the background. So maybe when I'm working, I can do that. Right now I do music, but I'm up for something new. So maybe I'll try some movies in the background. So with that, what's a closing thought you'd like to end with?
Well, I've loved our conversation, and the chance that I have to even speak to one. I know you have more followers than one, but if there's one person I can connect with on this podcast, then my time has been well spent. And so I just want that one of you out there to know that being an accountant is an amazing career. It's an amazing business model. EA or CPA or an accountant budding to do more, there is so much opportunity here, and I want to help you get there. And becoming a certified tax advisor is only going to enhance and accelerate your success. Being in a community of other like-minded tax advisors from around the country on calls every week and learning strategies that you don't learn in school. You're not going to learn just hacking it out on Google. I challenge you, if it's not my program, find one and really learn everything you can. And I think you'll find that my training is more affordable than anything out there and more comprehensive. I hope you'll take a demo, take a look at it. It's on my website, markjkohler.com, down in the description. But the point being, though, is that the future is your oyster. You can really do so much here. So believe in it. Don't give up. There's a path. And for you guys that are burned out in an accounting practice, let's flip the switch. Let's change the whole model. And you can do it so quickly. So don't give up.
I love it. Love it. So first of all, thank you. This has been wonderful. To my listeners, one of the things that I want to do is definitely encourage you to subscribe. If you haven't already, subscribe to this and basically set your notifications so each and every week you can get notified as to each of these episodes as they're released. I encourage you to go back and binge listen, if you would, to the past episodes. We've now got over 200 episodes that you can listen to of basically the experts addressing topics ranging from marketing, selling, pricing, client onboarding, quality services, mental health, and a variety of topics that I'm sure are very applicable to your current situation and can help you build the premier accounting firm in your area. In addition to this, I'd love to get your feedback. If you'd like to, give us some comments. We'll always love hearing from our listeners and what it is that they would like to know more about and what it is that they'd like us to have on the show. Happy to oblige that. And then regarding the offers, definitely go to the episode description and find out what's available. We have some free resources for you as well. It's basically at universalaccounting.com that you can find all those free resources, and they're essentially there to help you so that you can confidently go out and offer these quality accounting services. In addition to this, this, basically, I want to invite you to our conference. It's called GrowCon. It's an annual event. It's done each May. It's for people to come who are business owners, people who own bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses, to come and hear from the stage, from the experts. Also, visit with your peers and learn from those that are around you that are likewise in business. And then lastly, to interact with our team here at Universal Accounting Center, because basically we are committed to helping you be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. All that being the case, if you'd like more information about these principles that we've discussed today or anything else on the show, reach out to us by calling us at 801-265-3777, or you can visit us at universalaccountingschool.com. Either way, be safe, take care, and always remember this: if it's about accounting, it is universal. Take care.